Choose your words carefully. So, end of the year, I get a little bit more self-reflective. I like talking about sort of the channel in general and things like that. So, I've got to do a video on sort of my favorite and also least favorite kinds of comments to get. Now, this is sort of setting aside the obvious ones on both ends of the spectrum. I'm not going to talk about comments being left that are just flat out trolling or that call me, I'm not going to repeat the things that some people call me, or ones that are just like, I love you and everything you do. I do appreciate receiving those, but that's like, again, that's part of the obvious. Of course I like that. And I wanted to deal a little bit with some of the less obvious stuff that I really like seeing going on in the comments, because as much as I have kind of been complaining lately about some of the stuff that I've had to clear out and some of the elements I've had to get rid of on a semi-regular basis, and that does weigh on me, I do love my comment section. At the end of the day, I really do. And especially for a channel the size that I have gotten to and will hopefully continue to build from, I think I've got a pretty respectful comment section, and certainly one that I while I don't enjoy some of the things I come across, I actually enjoy doing it. But yeah, so there's going to be good and bad on this list. Now, I'm actually going to start with the bad because I want to end positive, since it's going to be a back and forth, and I've got 3 examples of each. So, comments that drive me nuts. You came into this biased. Yeah, no kidding. So does everybody. Like, the argument of bias drives me nuts. Now, here's what I try and do. Because first of all, we all have biases. Positive or negative. That's another thing. People say bias like you can only be negatively biased against something. You can be positively biased towards something too. If you go in expecting it to be the best thing you will ever see and are looking for all the reasons for it to be good, that's a bias too. But that's not even why it drives me nuts. Why it drives me nuts is because not only does everyone have a bias, I try really hard when I recognize what my biases are, when relevant to something that I'm talking about, I point them out. If part of my love for something is nostalgia, I point that out. If something that really drove me nuts about, a film or an episode of a TV show, I can identify as being probably specific to me and my hangups, I will point that out. The only time it's relevant to point out bias is when somebody is claiming to not have it or is hiding it. I'm trying to be really open with my biases, so don't tell me I came in biased. Yeah, no kidding. Anyways, on a more positive note, the sort of comments that I like getting is something to the effect of, I don't agree with your conclusion, but I get what you're saying. And those sort of comments make me feel really good about sort of the format that I do, because obviously I ramble at the camera and I do not edit a lot these days. I used to edit a lot more. I used to have, shorter, tighter videos. I don't really anymore. And I mean, part of that is it actually enables me to do more regular updates. But I do think there's an actual positive outcome to that, which is that because a lot of times I'm rambling my thoughts out, to form them up so that it feels more like a conversation, is you are privy to my thought processes on things. So if I was more tightly editing, like most of these things I could cut by probably about half, honestly, if I really wanted them to be to the point. But the thing is, what I would cut would be all the little sort of rambles and tangents and clarifications and qualifications that I put out while getting to a point. And then you'd only be left with my point and you wouldn't know how I got there. So if you disagree with my point, you'd just be going, well, that's not right. But because I leave in all my rambly thought processes, it allows you to see how I got there. It's like showing your work, in schoolwork, like for a math test. The reason it's important to show your work is even if the answer you get isn't what the teacher was looking for, they can go over and see how you got there and go, oh, Not what I was after, but I do see how you arrived at that. I see where things went here. And that's kind of what I consider. So getting comments like that is a little bit validating for the format I do on this channel, and I like it. Yeah. This one bugs me a lot. You're always so negative. Haven't been getting that one as much lately because largely been talking about Doctor Who, and because I don't call it the worst thing ever, the latest series, I've been told that I'm scraping to excuse it and compliment it. But that's another conversation. I'm not even bringing that up. But yeah, I have been accused more than a few times of always being negative, always looking for the bad in things. And there's two elements to that, one of which I can't control, one of which not my fault. The one that I can't control is that's just how my brain works. Like, I like to think that it doesn't sap the joy that I have out of things, but even if I can take the enjoyment completely out of something, I can't stop my brain from kind of cataloging, boy, that was really good, but there was this little thing. That could have been a little better. That could have functioned better. That could have, flowed better. That moment was out of place. This little thing bugged me. Or if it works the other way, where like something is bad, I'll go, boy, this didn't work. I mean, there was that little thing, but this didn't work. And I think this probably comes up the most when I look at trailers and teasers, because when I look at something for something that will later exist, I can't stop my brain from basically cataloging all the ways what I just saw could possibly screw up. And that's just what my head does, and I try to counteract it if I can, but that's just kind of my thought process. Now, there is a half of this that is not my fault, and that's you guys. You guys watch the negative stuff a lot more, and that's not even speculation. I have numbers. If you want to take, basically any list that I've done a best and a worst on, the worst version always has about double the views. I mean, I've done it with more than just this, but a quick, easy comparison. I did the 10 best and 10 worst Doctor Who episodes written. I did it for Russell T Davies, and I did it for Stephen Moffat. And in both cases, the worst list has twice the views. I am not responsible for the fact that that's what you guys watch more of. Sheesh. All right, coming back to positive. This is kind of connected to the last one. A lot these kind of intermingle and overlap. But when somebody says to me the unequivalent of, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way before. That's, I wouldn't have thought to have looked at it that way. And I appreciate hearing that because I also appreciate getting that. I really enjoy in the comment section when somebody disagrees with me and gives their reasoning and the angle at which they came at something from that led them to a different conclusion, so that I can go, oh, well, you obviously have a perspective I didn't have, and now you've sort of let me in on that a little bit. And sort of hearing that, at least on some occasions, I'm able to do that for other people, I think that helps, because I think, the being able to hear and get at least a glimpse into the way other human beings view things is healthy. I think it's a good thing to go, oh, all right, well, there's obviously a whole other thing with the way you came at this. I never would have thought of it like that. That is an interesting alternative, and I enjoy seeing it, and I enjoy hearing that about my own thing. And it's it's funny, if I was of a more paranoid bent when I get comments like that, I'd be thinking, oh God, how weird is my brain that people are, that, like, to me, this is the obvious normal thought process, and other people are going, wow, I never would have thought of it like that. But I don't. It makes me feel kind of nice. So the last one on the comments, I really can't stand getting. And before I say what this one is, I want to pick my words very carefully in sort of my response to this. I want to be so careful about how I say this and how I come across. So, dude, it's just a movie. Calm down. Go f fuck yourself. Like, I hate that so much because, okay, first off, this channel is, God, what even is, it's a geeky pop culture commentary kind of channel. This stuff is not the most important stuff in the world, but it's what the channel is about. So I don't think that what's going on Doctor Who or with Star Wars or in Game of Thrones is the most important thing going on in the world, but it's what I talk about here. Heaven forbid I have strong feelings about the things that I choose to talk about here. Would you rather I was a robot and had no investment and didn't care about the things that this entire channel is based on? And more to the point, you know what? For me personally, the two worst words that you could say to me if I am mad or frustrated are calm down. You don't get to tell me how to process stuff. If I need to rant it out, I will rant it out and then I will be okay. I will process how I need to process. You don't get to dictate to me or to anyone else how to process through what I'm going through or what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling based off something. And you don't have any business telling anybody what they should or shouldn't care about or that they do or don't care about something too much. People care about what they care about. Some of it in the grand scheme of the world doesn't matter. We still care. That's fine. But let's go back to positive again. So, my favorite thing to get in the comment section, and again, this kind of ties to the other stuff, but it's when people share their personal experiences. And that can come up when people explain why a particular episode or movie really connected with them, and they sometimes will share some of their history, some of their background to give me better context for why it impacted them the way that it did. And I love that. Again, sort of related to to the things that were said about, oh, I didn't think of it that way, or I didn't agree, but I saw how you got there. This is the purest way for me to experience that. Like, I like getting the comments that basically say I kind of did that for other people, but I also love getting that back. I love seeing a comment that gives me a bit of personal history of someone's, a story from someone's life, a relationship that they had with someone that really informed their feelings about something. And I really always appreciate anyone who does that. And it's touching in a way that you would feel comfortable even sharing some of the stuff that's gotten shared with me in comments is stuff I wouldn't expect people to share. And it's awesome and it's wonderful and it gives me a nice warm fuzzy feeling, which is good because this time of year Vermont is freezing. It's why I got these going. Besides, they're cute. So thank you to the subscribers, to the viewers, to the commenters, all of you, except for the jerks. But if I haven't already blocked you off the channel, try to get better. I do like engaging with people I disagree with. Just don't be a jerk. It's the golden rule. But most of you aren't. The vast majority of my commenters, I really value the heck out of you guys. So thanks for everything. Your thoughts, comments you like to give, comments you like to see. I would ask for the most part that your responses on this lean on the positive because I think I got my own rants out. But, if you have something you need to vent, I won't stop you. But I'd kind of prefer this to be a little bit more on the touchy-feely side comment section-wise. But we'll see what we get. Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. A whole bunch of stuff you can do because there's buttons and there's links, including one to my Patreon. If you want to support me that way, it does help. But there's other links to check out as well. I got a P.O. box. There's all sorts of stuff down in the description. But if you don't want to look at any of that, that's fine too, because at the end of the day, you're the council. I just run the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.